kind of dark very early this morning. Just got to my first stop. I got a minute or two to make this quick video. The story I'm about to tell you guys is fictional. It's a parable. The reason I chose this parable, the reason I chose to say what I need to say in a parable is because Jesus spoke in parables. And I want to be like Jesus. I'm far from it, but I'm striving to be more like Jesus every day. But before I get into this parable, I just want to promise you guys this. I will never promote a company or a product on this show that could cause harm to you or kill you. But I will unapologetically support companies that save lives. This is why I ask you, please, if you are buying or selling real estate, go to realestateforlife.org. It's the only outspoken pro-life Christian real estate company that I know of. So the fees and the commissions you're going to pay are going to go to a pro-life company that donates to pro-life charities. realestateforlife.org. Now, this parable, to me, is about unity, church unity. And the reason I want to preach about church unity is because it was very important to our Lord. His last prayer, now, a dying man's last prayer is very important. What did he choose to pray about before he went to the crucifixion? Jesus said, Father, let them be one as we are one. There's one church, one baptism, and one Father of all. And Jesus prayed for that unity. He told his disciples, they will know you are a follower of mine by how you guys love each other. So in the spirit of unity, I'm going to do my best to teach in a parable. Now, Jesus was perfect, so his parables were perfect. I am not perfect, and I admit this isn't a perfect parable, but I hope it makes the point I'm trying to make. Now, I want to give credit where credit is due. Yesterday, one of my sons moved, and him and his wife have a lot of stuff. So normally when one of the children move or anybody in my family moves, it's me and my 4 sons, so the 5 of us, and we pride ourselves on being a really good moving crew. Like, people are amazed. A couple of us, it was just like 2 or 3 of us, I think, helped move the widow in our church, and she like looked at the time, she was like, I can't believe you guys got that done so fast. I said, well, we have a lot of practice. But yesterday was a little rough because 2 of my crew, 2 of my sons had to work. And so it was just 3 of us. So we started early in the morning and didn't finish till well after the sun went down. So from sun up to well past sundown. And I started with this sweat jacket because it was a little chilly. Then it got hot. And then at nighttime, it got even chillier and the sweat jacket went on. So it seemed like days, but it was just one day. But in between moves, we had to make like 5 trips, you know, because they didn't have the biggest U-Haul available, so we had to get a small U-Haul. So we had to make several trips. But in between trips, I would look at my phone and I was getting it blown up. People were very upset. Many of you subscribers and just friends very upset at an event that took place in our church. And I want to give credit where credit is due, because I spoke to my youngest son, Nick, and we were giving each other analogies of how we saw the situation. So he contributed to this parable because I thought about everything he said and on what I said, and so I came up with this parable. So here we go. So after 9/11, this patriotic young American joined the Army and said, I want to go where the fight is. So they said, join the Rangers. He became a Ranger, and he got right into the fight, the most dangerous fights. He was shot, he was wounded, he kept fighting. Got 2 Purple Hearts. Then one day, they got intel that Al-Qaeda was going to burn children and babies. Literally, they literally had a house and they locked these babies and children in there and lit it on fire. And this ranger busted in the house with shots firing at him and saved dozens of babies and children. He got burnt, he got shot, he got wounded, but he didn't stop till he got everyone out. He got the Medal of Honor. And there was a VFW hall, and at this time, and the guys were, you know, trading war stories, having drinks. Some guys were shooting pool. And when it came on the news that this hero, this American hero, was about to get the Medal of Honor, they stopped what they were doing and they all stood at attention. And then when the President of the United States put that Medal of Honor around this soldier's neck, they all gave the best salute they could. And they were proud that he was part of their team. They were proud he was part of their tradition. They wanted their children to grow up to be like this Medal of Honor recipient. They were very proud. Then he went and did a couple more tours, got more medals. He was just stood up and made every soldier, every veteran proud to have wore the uniform he wears. Then when he came stateside, he was stationed at Fort Hood in Texas, the largest base in Texas, a huge base. They sent more people to war than any other base, even more than Fort Bragg, I believe. And he talked to his general, and he said, "General, you know, I want to bring attention to this fight we're in. Can I go to Florida? There's a base over there. I think it's called Camp Blandon near Ocala." So his general let him go to Florida, and he did great work bringing attention to what was going on. He even, unfortunately, he said he was saddened that he wasn't able to save all the children and babies. And he brought home a dead baby from Afghanistan and showed the world what we're fighting, and asked the generals to give more support to the troops fighting in the battle. And he was actually reprimanded by his generals. They said, you know, that's not right. This goes against protocol. But he kept the fight, and he had the support. The civilians loved him. The soldiers loved him. This guy was a hero. But then his general said, "Okay, you need to come back to Fort Hood." And he respectfully asked, "No, can I please stay in Florida? The fight is, I'm really doing good work here. I need to keep the fight in Florida." And the general said, "No, your request is denied. You got to come back." And this went on for quite a few years. And then finally, this Medal of Honor, this great hero of the military, said, "No, I feel like the fight is here." And then the generals did something unthinkable to all the veterans and the soldiers' mind. They threw this soldier out of the Army, this Medal of Honor recipient. They gave him a dishonorable discharge. And his parents, who were so proud of him, they would brag about their son. "My son is doing such great. He's a hero. He's a Medal of Honor." His parents were heartbroken. How could they take my hero's son's passion from him? How can they take him out of uniform and throw him out? They didn't understand. No one understood. The soldiers were mad. The civilians were mad. Like, how can this happen? And then there was this profiteer who had the philosophy, never let a crisis go to waste. And he made a book. He said, "I'm writing a book, and I'm going to prove that all the generals are communists, that our whole military has been infiltrated by the communists. Don't join that military. That military is bad." And then many who wrote his book said, "Yeah, you're a prophet, not a profiteer. We believe our prophet. And we're going to start our own military. Join our military because our generals are good. Their generals are bad." And the veterans who loved that Medal of Honor recipient, who stood at attention and saluted him, were heartbroken. And they try to tell these people, no, our military is good. This may be a bad decision. This is a bad decision. This decision breaks our heart. But don't leave our military, please. The soldier would not want you to leave the military. And they're like, yeah, but why? Why do they attack this good soldiers? Well, there's soldiers all over the world doing worse things than this guy did. This guy didn't even do anything wrong. He's actually doing good. And the veteran said, we don't know. All we know, we are soldiers. And the military is not a democracy. The military is run more like a monarchy. And as good soldiers, we got to obey our orders. And I don't know why the bishop ordered him back to Fort Hood. And I don't know why he refused to obey that order. But this is the military. This is the life we chose. And we still, no matter what, whether we think this is the worst decision, and all of us veterans do, this is a bad decision to get rid of this honorable man, this Medal of Honor recipient. We need more soldiers like this, not less. But we must pledge allegiance to our military, and we must submit to our generals and be good soldiers. And the story didn't end there. The military stayed strong. You had some people that started their own little militias and weak military units that they thought their generals were better, and turns out, their generals weren't any better, because, men are men. There's one great military, and it was ours, and it is still the greatest military. And that Medal of Honor recipient, losing the uniform did not change who he was. He was an honorable man, a man of character, and he kept the fight. He kept the same fight he was doing as a civilian. So this is my parable. For what it's worth, please stay Catholic.